Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon there in Vienna, and good evening to wherever you are in the world. Greetings from the UN Office of Women's Federation for World Peace International here in New York. My name is Merly Barlan. I am the director of the UN offices of WFWPI. Today, we are going to highlight the work of our UN team in Vienna. And we have a huge team here today. They will be speaking about the uh, recent UNCCPCJ. They're going to explain to you about that. But before everything else, let me greet everyone. Hello, Twin.
Hi,
Thank you
Gwen.
for being with me
Of
today.
course. Good
Yeah,
morning.
this is going to be informational. Yes, thank you for joining me. And to our team in Vienna, I'd like to say hello first to Dr. Maria Riel and to Renate Amasbar, Irmgard Mentler, Lily Gundaker, Hala Abu Sari, and Abulaziz, Abu Sari, sorry about that, and Merly Blushke. So they are our dynamic, powerful team in Vienna. They have done so much work over the last 30 years of the UN advocacy in Vienna, but we really do not uh, understand the magnitude of their contribution to the work of Women's Federation. They have influenced so many of our UN agencies and our uh, missions around the world. And today we are going to understand that so that we can uh, create our programs, create our activities, and our advocacy messaging um, aligning to what they are doing in Vienna. There are couple of yearly events going on in Vienna. The UNCC, UNCCPCJ. It's such a quite a tongue twister. UN Conference on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice, and also the work of the UNODC. I understand that your team has been working quite extensively and sustainably with these offices at the UN. Recently, usually every May, there's this convention conference, big conference, hosted by the CCPCJ. And I am interested to know about what the involvement of Women's Federation, our contribution, and how our leadership in the region and in the national chapters can design their activities and understand it well so that they can design their projects to continue to support the SDGs and the work of the crime prevention and criminal justice. I am going to call Dr. Maria Riol and followed by Renate to introduce the team. Please, Renate.
I'm the General Secretary of the UN Vienna office, and I'm the president of the chapter, Austrian chapter in Women Federation in Austria. Okay, yeah, so Dr. Maria Riel, she is a medical doctor. She is mother of five children. They're not children anymore, they're grown up, and she has 11 grandchildren. She is retired, but all her life she did humanitarian work. She worked many years, I think 15 or 20 years together with her husband in the former Eastern European countries with human aid, of course, also with medicine and other activities. And she is actually the person who brought Women Federation to Austria and brought it alive in 1992. Just the same time it started internationally, we started in Austria. Dr. Maria Riel was the director of Women Federation in Austria for 11 years, and she's our advisor and vice president all the time. We are very grateful we work together, and she's the director of the Women Federation UN office in Vienna since 2016, I think, yeah. The other is Irmgard Mentler. She's from Germany, from Passau. I forgot to mention Dr. Maria Riel is from a neighbor country, also from Slovakia, but she lives many, many years in Austria, so we forget about that. Irmgard Mentler, she's from Passau, this very beautiful city with three rivers merging into each other. She came to Austria in 1994. We are very grateful and happy for that, because also since then she's been a supporting pillar of Women Federation, and she's also the part of the Vienna UN team. And yeah, then Lily Gundaker, she is from the other side of the world, not quite the neighbor country, from Australia. We're always laughing, Austria and Australia It's a very beautiful cooperation, but also she lives in Austria since more than 30 years. And she has joined the Women Federation from the very beginning as well, in Upper Austria, not in Vienna, but she was there active from the beginning. And we are very grateful that we have Lily a little bit closer to Vienna because she moved outside the city again, in and out and in and out. Lily Gundager had an experience of 10 years working in the atom energy at office in the United Nations. So for 10 years, she was working at the United Nations, and now she's retired, no, since several years retired. Just before Corona, she retired. And we are very grateful for that because she's really our technical pillar, technique, and also media, and making videos. And she created and started a YouTube channel. So we have all our events since, I think, 10 years almost. We have all our events on the European Women Federation YouTube channel. And we have Merly Soquila Plaschke. She is our Filipino liaison because there's a strong Filipino diaspora, and Merly really helped and brought all these Filipino ladies and groups and organizations in contact with us in Vienna, also in Kärnten, in Corinthia. And then we have Hannah from Israel. She also joins us. She joined us. She was visiting Austria last year. One time she got stranded on the airport. This is when I met her first. It's, I think, maybe 1.5 years ago, because there was more going on in her country, and she wasn't 2 years ago. I think November or October, or 2 years ago. And she and another colleague, they came from an international conference for young people, and they came to Vienna, and the leader of her organization, Mr. Steven Aiello, he said, "Oh, can you help these two girls because they cannot travel home because the flights have stopped." So we were together for 2 days or 3 days, and it was really very exciting for me. It was so beautiful to get to know two beautiful young ladies, I must really say. And so we are very happy that Hala is in our kind of team. We can reach out to each other. She came to Vienna last year with the whole group. She will come again this summer, and you came for the conference. This was very, very precious. Fond of this organization, this initiative, Debate for Peace. We want to support in any way possible. So I give the word back to
Wonderful.
Olivia.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Renate. And my gratitude and kudos to all of your team. You have been doing a wonderful job there. Well, I think the person who has not been properly introduced here is Dr. Mariver Montibon. She is our UN representative here in our UN office in New York. And she is also our media person. She is a journalist by profession. And she helps me a lot, not just with media work, but also facilitating our projects, especially our environmental project in the Philippines. So yes, thank you, Turin.
Thank you, Turin.
Renate, I'd like to ask you the recent CCPCJ conference. I am interested, and if you could explain to us and to our listeners and our audience the overview of that conference.
Yes, I'm happy to do this. So this CCPCJ, this name, it is Commission of Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice. The United Nations Vienna, one part of the United Nations is UNODC, is United Nations Office for Drug and Crime. So this is one of the offices. There is others. There is UNIDO, there is AI, and even more. I will not go into this, but we are working together with this UNODC, Crime and Drug Prevention. And there's 2 commissions every year. One commission is in March, Commission on Narcotic Drugs, and the other one normally in May, but this year it is in June. This was last week, Commission on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice. And this is like a conference where even all the countries can allowed to invite delegates. They can invite delegations from their countries, and also NGOs with ECOSOC status. They can invite delegations. We are invited, actually, miraculously. I'm very honored. We feel always very honored. We are receiving a letter 2 months in advance that our organization is invited to send a delegation to these commissions since 2016, 2015, maybe even. So, and this means we can send a delegation. We can have people with us who can attend all the events, the discussions of the governments, or the side events, these parallel events. I think parallel events is something that everybody knows from other commissions. And also we are entitled to create our own parallel event, one. Every organization can apply for one. So we're using also this chance. This commission is maybe surely more than 1,000, 1,500, 1,800 people in the United Nations in Vienna. I heard that there's between 600 to 700 delegates from NGOs among those, and 130 something NGOs applied for side events. So the UNODC, this office, they have a special unit, 4 or 5 people, and they're really they are in place to help the cooperation with the NGOs. I'm so again and again very moved about this. This is of United Nations NGO branch, and they are there to help the NGOs to find their place, to do everything correctly, to be accepted, not to make any mistakes, to really working on this relationship. This is UN Vienna. They're really, really emphasizing NGOs to be there, so they're very proud. The more NGOs apply, the more delegation comes. Even for one NGO, they did not set a limit anymore. There was a limit before, 10 people, but now this year they said no limit. We are happy you bring people who are interested, who support, and to learn how United Nations, what governments are doing. So this is this commission, and it started on the first day is an opening banquet. We have now also a new executive director in Vienna. This UNODC is an executive director. She is directly under the General Secretary of the UN. She is from Kenya, Mrs. Monica Juma, a lady from Kenya. Some of us could listen to her 1 time, 2 times, a very, very basic, very, the feeling is a woman that knows what's going on, but knows also what is needed, and a great emphasis in the cooperation with NGOs. And she really values the work that is done by all these little NGOs, because much of the work is not done by governments, but by NGOs, by little organizations on the ground, like our organization as well. So this is the commission. I don't know if you have any more questions. So of course
I'm interested about what was the theme of
the commission
most recent?
has, it is crime prevention and criminal justice, but this year they had like 3 main topics. They discussed preventing and combating transnational sextortion of children, because this is a heavy topic. Of course, all these topics are very heavy topics. Then countering trafficking in person for the purpose of forced criminality, and strengthening crime prevention and criminal justice responses to combat fraud. And in general, they said they want to really strengthen the cooperation so they can fight all these new crimes coming. Crimes are done by very intelligent people. So if they're caught on one side, then they have some other ideas. And also this area of AI is kind of exploding. And actually for this AI, they had separate conferences, especially for this AI and misuse of AI, because AI is something very creative, is something that can really help, but the misuse that is connected with it. So they did separate conferences, because they all say, and it's amazing how the governments are actually working together for that, and said, this is really too much. We have to stop this misuse of artificial intelligence and bringing people into most terrible situations. So they had an extra conference there some half a year ago, I think. I'm sorry, I forgot where it was. I'm wondering if not Maya want to say something, because I've been talking now, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our works, thank you very much. Our work started many years ago when we participated in a conference in the United Nations about children in the prison. And we had a question, is prison the answer, the only answer? When children do wrong things. Listen to report from one lady from Asia, I put exactly the country, and children, when they steal some piece of bread or something, they came to the prison. They live there on very small place, and they forgot where they were born. They knew only their name, and this was very touching us. So we decided to strengthen the family. The origin of everybody of us is the family, and how we can protect our children. And this is always the topic on in our desire, and also from my experience, is always necessary to concentrate on the family. Children are our precious good, and we naturally take care of it. Everybody from every nation, from every culture, from every background. Yeah. And we still started our work, and we continuously work on it. And this has something to do exactly what UNODC is working. So we had good connection with this chapter of the United Nations in Vienna. Honestly, we have two very important part of work at the United Nations. One is this Commission on Crime Prevention and Drug, and second one is Disarmament Department. So everything has to do with our work, like mothers, and we support. This is our entrance to the United Nations. Many years ago, 2002, we offered our Bridge of Peace to the United Nations reconciliation. Take responsibility for your life and ask and meet like your enemy or somebody who is foreign, and study your background and reach out to other countries and try to learn from the past, from the history. And we promise that we will not repeat the history of fighting against each other, but through understanding, we wish to support each other and make of peace between the nation, because this is our desire. And on this way, we can create a world of understanding and happiness. So this is all our internal desire, how we can understand other people. This was my work like medical doctor. They came to me always. The problem was not the coughing, not sometimes very simple, but behind always they asked me very personal questions and how they wanted to communicate with me. And this communication between human beings to understand how we can how we can help each other. Yeah, so we can understand the situation of others. And from this very personal experience, we go to the United Nations and we support the family, because the United Nations Charter is not only individuals, but we need to go forward to see that the origin of ourself is family, one father and one mother, two person in everywhere. So this is our way of reaching out. And if we are asked from United Nations what we can offer like civil society, so this is our answer. We can support the work of United Nations through strengthening the family relationships and healing the relationships and listening to the problems or to the situations, and letting the and understand acceptance, yeah, in the relationship, to bring it to the society. Because when children feel safe at home, they can connect with the society, and they can bring this attitude to the society. So we can, this is our, we meet, this is our motivation. And even this was understood from the beginning of our work, like women, like mothers, daughters, sisters, how much we wish to understand each other. Yeah. So thank you
What,
very much.
yeah.
This was the big, yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rael, for giving us that background. Yes, it's very important. Family, strengthening the family, identifying the root causes of the problems of the world and at the United Nations level, and bringing the issue and addressing it through the family. And I understand that through many, many years, you have been doing side events centering on crime prevention and strengthening the family and peace, starting from the family. That is a very clear messaging on how Women's Federation can contribute to peace building.
So this
And
is,
what
yeah.
was the involvement of Women's Federation? I understand you had a side event and who you were partnering with.
Genau, we had a side event there. We had one side event. This was, it takes a village to raise a child. This is what Maria Riel said, that we are really emphasizing prevention, because many talk about when crimes have happened. There is, of course, one of the topics is what is the situation of prisons? Yeah, how do you treat offenders? Yeah, in what prisons should look like? And there is Nelson Mandela rules. There is rules for women in prison, because women often, then they have children. How can they be with their mother? All these kind of things are discussed along this in this 1 week conference. But because it says crime prevention, then we always say, okay, prevention is where all the projects of Women Federation come into. May it be educational programs, strengthening women that they can earn money, they can microcredit projects that some of our sisters are doing. So bringing children together, helping them to have a place, a safe place after school, because they go to school, but they go home and the parents are not there. They run around in the streets. This is also not good. And all these programs. And so we made this side event. It takes a village to raise a child, a multi-stakeholder approach to help children to have a safe place to grow up. And we had Miss Moriko Hori. She gave the opening remarks, and she talked in a very gave an overview of Women Federation work. Also, she explained that Women Federation Japan has created a new program for strengthening family relationships, because how do you talk with your children? How do parents talk with each other? That the home is a place where you talk, and even there's differences in opinion, this is normal, but that you learn to deal with it and talk with it. That is a place, that home is a safe place for children to be. And I think we all have heard examples how much this really has an effect, of a positive effect for the children, and not leave them to run away, because these other groups with violent extremism, with drugs, there's many groups. If a young person is alone on the street and looking for connectedness, for belonging, because this is a very strong desire in all of us, but especially in the time of growth, you want to belong to a group as a young person, a teenage person. So they are misusing this feeling, and they say, oh, you come to us and do some kind of things. You are with us, you're in a group, but in the end, you have to do things that you actually would have never thought you would do, and maybe never wanted to do. Yeah. So to counter this is family, but also school. We had a director from a school. He was talking about the situation. It's not easy to have children from very mixed cultures, backgrounds in the school classes. And it's not always easy for the teachers. It's not easy at all to help the children to find a way, to find the common ground. And we had also Dr. Tomasini. She is a medical doctor, and brain development is her really favorite subject. And she could talk about this, how brain needs time to develop, and the more healthy input comes to a young person, not only to the child, but to a young person until 25, then we have developed our brain, and then we function, and then we can go out and we can deal with all the different circumstances around us. Yeah. She was very welcomed. Yeah. It was very, very appreciated from all the listeners.
Twin, I have a question for Maria and Renate about the curriculum. Does Women's Federation have a manual, for example, for parenting? Has that been developed on the side of Vienna, for example? Do you have that? That would be very interesting for parents. Important, actually. Like the baby did not come with a manual, but
Yeah.
do you have a parenting
That's a very
manual?
good question.
Maya, you want to say something?
No, in the family, we don't use curriculum in the family. This is for education of, this is like what we learned from Jordan, for example. I learned a lot. I didn't know the situation. The Mrs. Roa from Jordan, she spoke to us that children, that foreigner, when you come to different countries, in childhood or even as adult, you don't know the laws in this country.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. For this, we need to have curriculum and to explanation. For example, in our country, you can drive only 130 kilometers per hour on the highway. Yeah. If you drive more quick, you must pay, because this is forbidden. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I was surprised that in Jordan, the children, they are lost, and even parents from different countries, from Lebanon, from neighboring countries. This is the curriculum we need to people for give them orientation. Some laws exist in every country. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
For example,
interesting. Yes, that's true.
it was very interesting for me. For example, in our country, 10 o'clock on the evening, 10 p.m. Must be quiet. Yeah. In hot countries like India or like Italy, 10 o'clock life starts because afternoon is very hot. They have their siesta. Yeah. So there are different laws. So for this, we need to curriculum to respect the country I enter. Yeah. In normal family,
Mm.
in a normal family, of course, children, we start our daily life with whatever, with prayer in my family. Yeah, we start with prayer, with giving thanks to God and to our ancestors. Yeah, for the peace we can live in. We are thankful for our house, for our families, for our neighbors. So this culture in the family is somehow free to be respectful. Yeah. So for this we don't need curriculum. Yeah. But we need curriculum
Mm.
to have orientation. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question
How
for Renate. Uh, okay, do you want to add to that, Renate?
Yes, I would add that, of course, this is every family, you have your natural way of educating your children, which is very, very good. But we do have organizations we work together with because we have this Elternwerkstatt, parents workshop. We are seeking out for organizations who do help when it's difficult in the families. Yeah, so somehow give some additional advice. And we often invite them to come with us to the UN to talk about their experience. So for others to say, okay, this is a very good idea. Maybe we should implement in our country as well. So we know a few of these organizations with very good curricula for young people. This I just wanted to add, yeah.
Thank you.
Uh, my question for you, Renate, is more on the network that you have created um, with through the years of side events and events. You have created a platform actually. One thing that's really impressive about what you do in Vienna is you're good at creating a platform for dialogue and conversation where the member states, the UN missions, and civil society can talk about these issues globally. Now, I want to know if after these dialogues, these conferences, you have opened spaces for missions and NGOs in their countries. Do you have a cases, best practices? For example, I remember 3 years ago where the ambassador of Kenya joined our event, and there was Susan from Kenya. Um, were there cases where they took the conversation from online platform to the real world in their country where they can work together or share a project together? So are there any cases like that?
This is our desire. This is actually always was our wish that, because I really want to say that much of the work, much of the reason why we are respected in Vienna at the UN is because of the work of our sisters, of our colleagues in all these countries where it's very hot or very damp or very rainy or not easy to live, and they are working and having their projects. And this is, I want to keep it for the end, but maybe I forget at the end to add encouragement also for all sisters who are doing something, that also to come up to us and say, I'm doing this in this project, because we can present it at some point. Yeah? And then this helps us to make the connection with the ambassador. So you are right, we have these examples. One was really with Kenya, because Dr. Susan Kone, she is a very substantial person. She's very, very active. Also, she has an overview about all African nations. And so we reported back our connections. We even made Zoom meetings with one of the vice ambassador consul, when she was in Vienna, and we made a Zoom with Susan, and then we had this ambassador. She was a very nice lady, but then she somehow she left Vienna very fast. We also reported back to Susan, and Susan, she, depending what event she has, she comes up to these people, and she
Did they were they
connects
able to
with.
work together? Were they able
I
to
don't
work
know to
together on a
what
particular project?
I do not know to what extent, yeah. But we also reported to her other people, because other NGOs that came to Vienna from Kenya, we reported back, and there is some connections and some cooperations that came out from this. And the other thing I must say, one other example is the Philippines, because it is your work and the sisters' work in the Philippines that also encourages the embassy to, or gives them the right. Embassies, they cannot, I mean, this is beyond personal. I like this person, I go there. No, embassies, they are representing a country, and they also always have to rectify why, maybe it's not the right word, they have to be accountable why I'm wanting to support this and this side event of this and this organization. It's more than personal liking the people. This is surely also important, but it's because they are doing this and these projects in our country, so we should really support. And they have to ask the ministry. In Vienna, they cannot decide. They have to go back to the ministry at home. Is this okay? We, as the embassy in Vienna, support this and this program of this and this organization, and we are an international organization. So it depends. So there's many, many linkages. Yeah. And the other
I must say, kudos to the mission of the Philippines, the Philippine Embassy. Thank you
sure. I
to
mean,
their support. Yeah.
I think also, of course, somehow if you like each other, it helps. Yeah. Another example was with Mali. We also had an event with the ambassador from Mali and the sister in Mali, who is our Women Federation president, Mrs. Catherine Diarra. And it was even French and English translation back and forth some years ago. But also there was the ambassador from Mali. But Mali is in a very difficult situation, so I do not know if there is any connection that proceeded from that. But we had it on the side event. This is what we try to do, and we have a program from a certain country that we like with Mexico. We had the cooperation of Mexican embassy, and there was one colleague from Women Federation Mexico coming to Vienna, and then we had a lady from the ministry talking at our side event. This was last year, 2 years ago. I think it was even last year, at the CND, at the Narcotic Drug Commission. And so this is a kind of a way to get embassies interested, because they have a lot of things to do. And as I said, they're very, very busy. So, but if you can say our colleagues are doing this and this, please, and we are presenting it at the side event through video, or the person can come, then please, do you want to support? So this is normally a good way to do it.
Nice.
Wonderful. Well, Renate, we have a young person here, Hala from Palestine and Israel. I am very curious in her journey, how she got connected to our Women's Federation Vienna. I met her in Albania last year. Such a wonderful rising young leader. Tell us about her connection to Women's Federation and how she got hooked up and her journey.
Well, thank you so much. It all started with the war here in Israel and Palestine, where I was in a youth, let's say, program in Bosnia. And when I was coming back home, because of the war, we stopped in Austria. And I had the chance to meet Renate because of Stephen Aiello, the Debate for Peace program, our project manager. He connected me with Renate. That way I was introduced to Women Federation for World Peace. It was very interesting, since I also work in the field of youth and crime prevention, and it struck me like a thunderstorm with the information and the things you do. And that way I got connected. It was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, almost.
Wonderful. Yeah. You've been all over the world since then, so many times representing Women's Federation. I'm really impressed about your work also on the Debate for Peace. Early this year, you came to New York with your group of young men and women from Israel and Palestine debating about peace. That was a very impactful event, actually. Tell us more about it.
Thank you. Well, what we do at Debate for Peace, we get the chance to get together students from different backgrounds, especially Israelis and Palestinians, Arab and Jews from different faiths. It doesn't matter what their religion is. Also, they come together through our summer camps, through our debates, through our peace simulations. That way, we connect them and build a relationship between each other, since they get to know each other and not build a stereotype. And that way, when they get to know each other, they stop fearing each other and stop hating each other. That way, they also meet beyond social media. They meet in person, and that way we connect them and like get the chance to give them to see the world instead of only what the box they live in and the conflict they live in. So
Well, that is very powerful.
thank you.
I ask you, with your experience under the mentorship of our Women's Federation Vienna, um, how you see has your perspectives changed? You know, considering where you're at with the transnational conflict between Israel and Palestine, and you are in this peace zone in Israel and Palestine. Before and after you met Women's Federation, has your perspective of how to achieve peace and how to relate to people in your region, in your area changed?
Of course. I mean, before I met Women Federation, was I didn't have the perspective of international or global ideas on peace, and I didn't know how people view Israel and Palestine and how they can um, form their ideas about conflicts and crimes in everywhere in the world. So when I got connected to Women's Federation, I got the opportunity to attend many events, especially the CCPJ last conference. I got the like, let's say, I got the idea of people on how they on their perspectives on conflicts and what they and how can they resolve problems not only through conflicts but through let's say youth initiatives on policing in Canada, as they mentioned in the side events, and they have many solutions that we can apply not only in Israel but globally.
I
That
have a
is
question,
very
Twin,
interesting.
for
Yes,
Hala.
go ahead.
Very important, very important and close to my heart as a young person. Hala, how do you look at the situation in Palestine right now? Because we are outside, we look at it in a very troubled way. We are sad. It has never been resolved. It just keeps escalating. So you're a young person and a young leader. How do you propose to stop the war and to give justice to everyone there and stop suffering from the war? Can you share it with us as a young leader?
I mean, I only have one simple sentence which always says, when they stop oppressing the Palestinians, the Israelis will have safer space to live. So when that's what always I say to my students. I mean, I'm not sure I can share my opinion on the war and how we can resolve it. But I mean, there is peace inside of beyond social media. What you see, although it is tragic, although it is very hard to live in these situations and conflicts every day, but there is peace in between people, not in between governments. In between people, Jewish and Arab, they live together every day. They work together. They go to school together in university. They speak different, although two languages that are similar together, like similar to understand. And I mean, although social media doesn't, or not only social media, the news doesn't show you how we live together in the country, we do live peacefully. Although there are always problems, we resolve them together, beyond governments, beyond laws.
Oh, that's so heartwarming, Hala and Twin.
Oh,
You know, people to people
yeah,
is
it's good to
important.
hear. I'm so
Thank you.
glad to hear this because
Thank
the social media with the, with the news, it's like
So
hopeless. But
brutal. It's
yeah,
brutal.
yeah,
It needs to stop because
you.
it doesn't make sense. That's how I
It's
feel like a journalist, like, oh gosh, why do we always keep doing it?
Yeah, that's what we do at Debate for Peace, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Although social media shows you how much it's so hard, although it is hard, and that's the reality, we do make it hopeful by giving youth the opportunities to meet each other, to understand each other, to actually see one another. Like, they do live in the same country, yet they live different realities, and they live in different communities. But when they come together, they see how they actually can live together and create a safer future for everyone.
Great. Thank you for
this
that.
is
It's
wonderful.
beautiful.
Thank you, Hala. Yeah, thank you. Two questions. Well, actually, yeah, two questions. So, Hala, if you were given the opportunity to meet the leaders of Palestine and Israel, what would you say to them, to bring world peace? And then for Women's Federation, what would you like? What would you expect from the Women's Federation regional and national leaders and young people around the world? to do to contribute in helping? Like, what specific activities can you request or ask? If you're, if the world will say, if Women's Federation will say, oh, Hala, what do you need? We will help you. How can we help bring peace to Palestine and Israel? So these two questions, I'm very interested.
Well, firstly, I'm not sure I can say my public opinion on what I can say to the president of both countries.
Well, on behalf of the young
On
people,
behalf-
like in general, young people of Palestine and Israel.
Well, what we can say is you can debate. You can debate, you can come together, not only throw rocks at each other, not only through violence. You can come together and talk. Talking is a way of peace building. When you want peace building, you have to face each other, to understand one another, not only through, let's say, through conflict. So the main idea or the main key is to debate or talk, just talk. And I would ask Women Federation, although they are doing amazing work globally, and I see how many, not only youth, but elderly people are benefiting from Women Federation and their work and and also environmental work. I would ask for them to also reach out to youth, maybe build activities for them, not only in one country, but bring them together. Like from people, students from the Philippines and students from Palestine and Israel, they can come together, see how they live, how they interact with conflicts, how can they resolve problems, not only staying in their own box and in or their own opinion. They will have a different perspectives when they go outside of their or travel outside of their country. So maybe those tools, and maybe connect more people and more not only students but also older generations together, because connecting is the key also to peace building and opening your mind to other perspectives and ideas and researches. Like I saw at the main event, I saw researchers were very enthusiastic about research about crime prevention, about different many topics, especially crime prevention. So when they and they like, I mean, when I saw them, it was very mind-blowing and eye-opening. But I also hope to see their research or studies not only plan them, but apply them in the real world, do the action, not only in the Middle East, not only in Europe, but also in everywhere in the world. And
That is powerful, Hala. I mean, based on your experience, getting out of the box where we just are stationed and talking to people, creating spaces for dialogue. And it's a beginning point of understanding the other party, right? Yeah.
Right.
Talking is peace building. That's what I get from you, Hala. Talking is peace building. And we
That's my
encourage our young
takeaway.
people. Yeah, we encourage our young people around the world, especially the Women's Federation chapter, creating spaces for our young people to understand each other, talk to each other, and travel to each other to these countries. And that is a way of building trust. And with trust, a relationship can be built, and with that relationship, peace can be possible. Thank you, Hala. That is very, very inspiring and hopeful. Okay, Renate, do we have more to add? We are going to almost the end. Do you have more to add?
In what particular way do you have?
Or more of your work or your team? Anyone in your team would like to share their best practices?
Maybe also
The
then some
Ingard
of
is
the other
ready to
ones
speak.
say something?
Or Earthguard, okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Go ahead,
because
Earthguard.
I just want to mention that it was such an inspiring experience to have young people in the team. And this time also then we made interviews and
Oh, yeah.
it was so uplifting. Thank you, Hala, for being here and attending our team, and also others like Kyungin and Lisa from France. It was so inspiring, I must say, and it gives so much hope. And I feel the young people have so much potential. So they study hard, they can bring in their expertise, and I feel a lot of, even there are so heartbreaking situations and so terrible reports at the United Nations. On the other side, there's a lot of hope, and I feel we become more a global village. So It's not only a village, it's a global village, and we are one human family. So we need to stick together, share together, care together, and leave no one behind. And so to become peace-loving global citizen, and I see it is possible. And so I have so much hope with the young people. So thank you so much.
I love your interviews, Irmgard.
Thank you.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
actually,
in
do more
Vienna.
of it. It's
Perfect.
actually very informational. We can share it
Yeah.
in our platform. Yes.
Caroline,
We will
Caroline inspired.
share it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So also
Um,
maybe Lily want to say something?
Lily, yes.
Lily and Merly.
Lily and Merly.
I mean, when you're asking about education manual, we have the curriculum project, which includes the chapters on family relationships, on couple relationships, and on taking care of children, and on mothers with young children. And this
Love that.
curriculum is over 500 pages. And Zoe has just been asking me to renew the logo on every page, so that's just in the process of being re-released. So that is a documentation that we already have. Also, we have other projects here in Austria relating to education, and Renata has done an amazing job of publishing a lot of the making a small publication from many of the events that we have. So when you ask about a parent's manual per se,
Yeah.
we don't have a manual for parents like that from Women's Federation, but we do have a lot of documentation that has already been done. And as Renata also pointed out, a lot of the stuff on the web, on the YouTube channel. There's, of course, a lot of scope for sharing a lot more in social media, on the web page, and you would have to sift through all the stuff on the YouTube channel, but there isn't an amazing amount of work on the YouTube channel. So I'm also overwhelmed just trying to administer all of that.
Now I'm excited to read that, like how you package parenting manual, like what to do when the kids have a meltdown, something like that.
Yeah, these are the sorts of things.
What to do when they run to grandma and do question your authority, things like that. It's gonna be fun, but it's very practical.
Dwayne, I remember Merly Blushkin mentioned about a manual in Philippines. I remember when I was I think president of Women's Fed Philippines, they started a professor's she's now the current president of Women's Fed Philippines. She produced a manual. Actually, this is for peace building between husband and wife, and it's more on reconciliation. How when the husband or wife are having a meltdown, what to do, and the healing processes. And
that's
actually, it's very fascinating. We should ask Women's Fed Philippines to share it. It was done for the families in the in the areas, in some areas in the Philippines. It's actually very fascinating, and it got good feedback because they did it for a period of 3 months, and there was like a 40 days. Couples have to go through that, and they had to come back with the reflections. And there were couple who were on the verge of divorce, and then they were given a platform to actually talking is peace building for husband and wife as well. So actually, that's quite helpful. It was a very short. Yeah.
Awesome.
Short
You have
manual.
a lot of clients for that, you know.
What do you do when husbands and wives
fighting, or parents having a
yes.
hard time with teenagers? That's a lot. That's intergenerational, and it's going to be fun podcast. We can do another podcast.
Maybe we could highlight that. Yes, the Women's Fed Philippines, and talk about it. Yeah, I'd like to revisit that. We are almost at the 1 hour mark. But I want to ask Renate if you have more activities moving forward in the future planned, so our national chapters can participate, whether online or in person, throughout the course of the year.
Yes, there are more commissions coming up, but actually I want to add one point, because through the years I really saw developing how you deal with offenders. And this year also there were several side events to really help people restructure their life. And this is not a one-day thing, it's not a one-week thing, it's something that takes weeks and months. When someone has to go to prison because it did something very bad, but not to let them there stay for the rest of their life, get out and get helpless because you didn't become a better person. Prison doesn't help you and you're discriminated. And there is really a strong dynamic to counter this, to help people. You are in the prison, but you keep your dignity, you're still a human being, and to help you to learn something, even university in prison, courses in prison. And even I was so impressed by Morocco. relearning your religion, the values of your religion, because this was especially dealing with people who have been caught by violent extremism. They didn't say a name of a group, but there is all over Europe, and especially in some of these Muslimic countries, been searching for young people to draw them into violent, very violent extremist groups, telling them this is Islam. So they made a lot of effort to tell them the values of the religion they actually believe in. And they have like 98% success. It is a lot of investment, but this is one example, and also other several side events on this, and during the last years, even special conferences for this. So I just wanted to mention this, that this really gives me so much hope, and it inspires us as Women Federation, restorative justice. Then the next projects that are coming up, one is in summer, including Hala and her group Debate for Peace. They come to Vienna from the 9th to the 16th of August. So whoever wants to meet them can come to Vienna in this week.
I want to go to Vienna.
Yes, just
Let's
tell
go.
us. Let us
Let's go to Vienna.
and meet these young people. And we will have a conference at the UN. We got now the date and the room, a big room. But please bring some money, because if this is the biggest room they have at the UN. They gave us on Thursday, the 13th of August, from 10 to 13 hours. So and this will be the main part, to have their debate for peace, their debate group as a show people at the UN, and we will invite some people to greet them and to support us. And the other thing is that the Commission on Crime Prevention, it is the even more complicated. It's called COP13 UNTOC. So Conference of the Parties number 13 / UNTOC is United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime. So you can all memorize this. And this is from the 19th to 23rd of October. So it's again 1 week, very similar to this CCP. So it's in the way it's conducted, the way we can again apply for a side event. Again, it's prevention, it's transnational organized crime. So again, dealing with criminality. And this is only every 2 years. And in between, we will also celebrate the Day of Older Persons, because we are working together with committees. And one of the committees is Committee on Aging. And this will also be celebrated at the UN. It's the 2nd of October, a half-a-day conference, an afternoon conference we will have there. And and there is more than that. There is constructive dialogues. This is, the countries are discussing the topics like firearms, trafficking in persons, smuggling of human beings, technical cooperation. And they always 2 days of conference, and on the day after, they invite NGOs to give their perspectives and what are they doing to fight these problems, to counter these problems, and invite the governments to listen. This year, because of money restraints, it's only virtual, but I can send it information. If someone wants to listen, it's 4 hours. It's not an extreme long time. The past 2 or 3 years, it had been in person, which was very, very nice, because you really met amazing people again, and you could expand your networks. We made use of this. Also, Merle Soquila, with her meet and greet, we could really meet amazing people. But this year, it's constrained to only online. So I can pass on this information, because we still have to name a delegation. We have to tell who wants to participate, and only those people get the link. But there's no problem to participate. Yeah, just your name has to be on the list of delegates. We can forward this information if someone wants to be there for whole time or part of the time and listen. Then this is okay. Yeah, possible.
Well, thank you, Renate. This is where you are, and your influence, and the long trusted relationship that you have built with the UN agencies, such as the UNODC and the embassies and the missions. These are golden opportunities, actually, for our national chapters to design and create programs and projects that can directly contribute to the work of UNODC and the crime preventions, our peace education programs. I would like to encourage our national chapters to take this opportunity, because whatever you do, especially whatever platform that Vienna created inside the United Nations, your voice, your statement, and your project can be heard and can be appreciated. And once you've established that messaging and track record of best practices, they will appreciate you and they will consider you as a meaningful and impactful partner. And especially that SDGs are ending, it will close by 2030. And now this is the time to showcase women's federations achievements and programs that help prevent or solve the crimes, whether it's local or transnational crimes. Yes. Did I hear Merle Blushke? There's
Yes,
Kyung In
please.
and Merle Blushke. Maybe real quick, if you can share before we close. Let's hear from you. Yes, hi, Ate Merle. Go ahead.
I don't know what happened with my camera, but I lost
But we can see you very well. We can see you.
Okay.
You're highlighted.
I look.
Go ahead.
You look
I
great.
don't see anybody. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. You look great. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much for organizing this podcast. It is really amazing, very informative, and I am so happy that I was able to join, even though I'm joining through my mobile phone. But yeah, I could say that before I forget, I wanted to invite everyone about this meet and greet, which will happen on the 30th of June. And yeah, it is to break the cycle of isolation, especially from young people. I think this platform is a fantastic tool. So yeah, we will continue with this beautiful work that we are doing. And yeah, I thank everyone from my team who are always behind me working and yeah, with their talent. I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, we will continue. Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you very
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you for your hard work and being consistent with creating that platform and bringing people together to talk. Uh, Kyung In, did I see Kyung In come in? Hi, Kyung In. Is she here?
She was on
No,
here a
not
few
yet.
seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't see her anymore. All right, for closing, Twin, go ahead. Do you want to say something, wrap up everything?
Sure. That was a shotgun. But thank you so much, everybody. It's been wonderful meeting you for the first time online, and happy to delve with you a little deeper on the lived experiences you have there in Austria. And while you were talking, it seemed like, oh, Vienna is so much into the high crimes department. You are in the dangerous aspect of peace building, which is combating human trafficking, high drugs, and armaments. That's 1 feet of a woman's work. And thank you for keeping the conversation on. And I wish, Twin, that we would have more deeper engagements with Vienna and more projects. We're not so far away. Austria is 7 hours from here in New York. So hopefully we could do some projects together, especially parenting manual, which is the starting point for peace, or sustainably loving your wife, something like that. My imagination got wild. Thank you so much, everyone.
Well,
Thank
thank you, Twin.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you to our Vienna team as well. It's really interesting you mentioned that, Twin, because in the Vienna, look at our team. They look like a really peaceful people. But if you
Yes.
think about the work that are expected of them and the UN Vienna is the home of the atomic energy, UNA, it's
Yeah.
another tongue twister, International Atomic Energy Agency, right? So the disarmament. So these agencies, important, crucial agencies that maintains world peace, and keep it together, control it so that people don't go ballistic and press the red buttons on bombs. It's there in Vienna, as well as talking about transnational crimes and yeah, the heavy topic of the humanities failings. It's in Vienna. So I think it's about time to pay a deeper dive into these issues. Yeah, and today I am really glad that we could highlight your work. And I think, Twin, from today, maybe every month or so we can interview one and
Yeah.
pay do a deep dive on these issues because it's
Right.
very interesting.
Especially these days, we're
Yeah.
always in trouble everywhere, anywhere. Big trouble.
And true. And I must say to our national chapters, any statement, any best practices you have, as long as you package your messaging and your advocacy message well, with knowing that the international community and the United Nations can accept that, bring it to Vienna, and they have the power to bring that report to the embassies and missions and have it talk about at a side event inside the UN. So that's a golden opportunity. If I were a national president, I would quickly gather reports and bring it to Vienna, whether it's in person or online, right, Dr.
Yes.
Real? Right, Renate? All right, everyone. Thank
Yes,
you
you
for
are.
joining us, and thank you, Hala, for giving us snippets of what you do and hopeful situation of your real life situation in Israel and Palestine. Thank you, my dear sisters, and we close our podcast with a hopeful message from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
again.
See you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
hosting us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.